Hey everyone, welcome back to another explainer. If you are a focused learner looking to really master Spanish, you are in exactly the right place. Today, we're pulling from Unit 16 of our material to tackle a genuinely crucial part of Spanish grammar, and that is making comparisons. But we aren't just going to look at dry, boring rules today. We're going to set the stage with a grammar lesson that actually travels, taking our cues from some fantastic examples based in the beautiful country of Cuba. By the end of this, you are going to be comparing people, places, and things just like a native speaker.
Okay, let's dive straight into this. Here is our roadmap for today. We'll start with a welcome to Cuban comparisons, then we'll look at comparing with adjectives, move on to comparing with nouns, put it to the test with Havana versus Matanzas, and wrap up with how you can keep learning with us.
Section 1. Welcome to Cuban comparisons.
So check out our two main characters here on the map, Juan and Laura. They are carefully mapping out their travels across the provinces of Cuba. And as they travel and talk about the amazing places they've seen, like the bustling streets of Havana or the really scenic views of Matanzas, they just naturally use comparisons. They're constantly debating which place is bigger, which has more attractions, or which is less crowded. This kind of everyday conversational debate is exactly what we are learning how to do today.
Section 2. Comparing with adjectives. Let's look at how surprisingly simple Spanish comparisons can be. Honestly, you should think of this structure literally like a simple math equation. When you want to express a quality, basically saying something is as something else, you just use this formula. It's done plus your adjective plus como. It creates this perfect, neat balance on both sides of the sentence.
But what if things aren't exactly equal? Well, here is your formula for superiority. If you want to say something is more than something else, you simply use más, followed by your adjective, followed by que. It's incredibly straightforward, and it immediately gives you the power to elevate one subject above another in your descriptions.
And on the flip side of that, we have our final adjective equation, which is for inferiority. If you want to say something possesses a quality to a lesser degree, you just swap out the word for more and drop in menos. So it becomes menos plus your adjective plus que, simply meaning less than.
Let's quickly walk through these examples right from the source material just to prove how easily these equations work in practice. First step, tan joven como translates beautifully to as young as. Next, más difícil que means more difficult than. And finally, menos complicado que simply means less complicated than. You see? If you just plug your adjective right into the middle of those sandwich words, your grammar is going to be flawless every single time. Section 3. Comparing with nouns.
Now, just to make absolutely sure we're all on exactly the same page, let's clarify what a noun, or un sustantivo, actually is in this specific context. We are talking about words representing things you can physically count or measure. So think of things like bridges, which are puentes, schools, escuelas, or parks, parques.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the change right at the beginning of the equation. When we talk about equality with quantities, meaning as much as or as many as, the word tan becomes tanto. And here is the golden rule you absolutely must remember. Tanto has to match the noun that immediately follows it in both gender and number. So it could be tanto, tanta, tantos, or tantas, depending entirely on the specific noun you are counting. I know, matching gender and number can sometimes feel a bit tricky, but I've got great news for you. The crucial point here is that for superiority and inferiority with nouns, the structure wonderfully stays the exact same as it was for adjectives. You literally still just use más or menos plus the noun plus que. There is zero gender or number matching required for the comparison words here. So this all builds into what I like to call your ultimate cheat sheet. Notice how for superiority and inferiority, you use más que or menos que straight across the board, whether you're using an adjective or a noun. The only time you really have to pause and think is when you are expressing equality. Just remember that morphological change. It's tan for adjectives, but it shifts to tanto, tanta, tantos, or tantas the second you move over to counting nouns.
Section 4. Havana versus Matanzas.
All right, let's put this into action. Here is the setup from our text. On side A, we have the famous capital city, Havana, or La Habana. And on side B, we have the incredibly stunning province of Matanzas. Both are completely incredible places, but they're very different, which makes them the perfect subjects for our comparisons. Let's break down exactly what our travelers noticed during their trip.
First, Laura makes an observation about physical size. She notes that Havana is not as big as Matanzas. She's using our equality adjective formula here, but she simply makes it negative. La Habana no es tan grande como Matanzas. Juan counters this by talking about infrastructure. He points out that Matanzas actually has more bridges. Since bridges are nouns, he perfectly deploys the noun superiority formula. Matanzas tiene más puentes que La Habanas. And the debate continues. Notice how the más plus noun plus K formula repeats perfectly here, no matter what they happen to be talking about. Juan argues for Havana's connectivity, stating it has more Wi-Fi parks. La Habana tiene más parques Wi-Fi que Matanzas. And then Laura chimes right back in to defend Havana's infrastructure and culture, stating it has more schools and theaters. La Habana tiene más escuelas y más teatros. Through this really simple, natural debate, they are brilliantly utilizing the exact formulas we just mapped out.
Section 5. Keep learning with us.
And just like that, you have officially leveled up your Spanish grammar. You now have a complete working toolkit to express exactly how things stack up against one another. But hey, the learning doesn't stop when this explainer ends. I actually want you to put these exact new formulas to the test right now. Answer this question for me. ¿Cómo es tu ciudad comparada con La Habana? How does your city compare to Havana? Is it bigger? Does it have fewer bridges? Maybe more parks? Drop your very best Spanish comparison sentences down in the comments below. And if this structured breakdown helped you finally grasp these concepts, make sure to like this explainer and subscribe to the channel for more focused, highly visual learning. Keep practicing, and I'll see you in the next one.